Hello everybody. As most of you probably are feeling this as well, I'm on half term this week with the kids. And it's always a bit of a shock to the system, isn't it? Having to be at home and have the kids here, as we all found out during lockdown. And it got me thinking this week that we all had to be really flexible, didn't we, when lockdown came about. And we all had to change the way that we were working. We had to work in ways that we were not used to at all. All of a sudden, we were all in the same environment, all trying to use the same room at the same time. So for instance, my living room is my house is very open plan. So my living room is the place where I have my desk, and it's my office space. It's a really nice space to be in during the day when the children aren't here because they're at school. All of us trying to use different spaces when you have an open plan house and you've got multiple children on Teams calls and things all over the house is really, really difficult. And I'd never had to use my house in that way before, as I'm sure most of you hadn't. So what I'm going to talk to you about today is the need to be flexible when designing and think about flexibility. Now, this can have different meanings with when you're thinking about a self-build or an extensive renovation. You think about flexibility and you think, oh, I might have to change. I might have to, change a design or give up something I like or negotiate on costs, that kind of thing, that kind of flexibility. That's not what I'm talking about today. I'm talking about the actual flexibility of your spaces. And I see this a lot. It's very, very common that when people are designing their house, they're only thinking about themselves in that present moment at exactly that time and their needs. And that's normal for you to do that because you're not actually trained to think about it in a different way. As an architect, most of my training was having to think around lots and lots of different variations of the same brief. So this means that, when we're looking at your house, we're not just thinking about you in that space and time. You'll have your list of wants and your criteria, and we will work all the way around that. And I want to be able to help you do that. So I'm going to give you 3 ways of thinking about that design and how you can really test the design that you've got. So I want to say the first way when you're designing, the first thing to think about is right now. What are my needs right now? What are the needs of my family right now? How do we live and how do we work in this environment all together? And I want you to think about that in your daily routine during the week. And then I'd like you to think about it holidays and weekends and how that might change. That might mean that you are suddenly all in one space. Maybe different shift patterns happen. If you've got kids, your kids might have friends round over at the weekend, that kind of thing. You might like to host dinner parties. We behave differently, different days of the week, different times of the year. So think about yourself now, your needs now, across those different variables, the common variables. So that's one way to look at it. The second way to look at it is to think about your life now, but if you had a change of circumstance, and that might be something like we've seen lockdown happen. No one could have predicted that. We didn't know that was going to happen. But suddenly we're all in a very different way of working. But that gives you a really good idea of how you can think about those variables. Maybe, for a young family, if you're uncertain about whether you've had all your children or not, you might future-proof just in case you have another child, just to give you that flexibility. And these are things that you can sort of write in your brief. You don't actually have to come up with a solution. Your architect can do that for you. But thinking about these things will really challenge you and actually make you more able to see how the design can flex with your needs. So that second one is change of circumstances. It might be that you're suddenly working from home. It might be that you decide to homeschool. It could be anything. It could be a physical need, a disability potentially, if you do have poor health, if that might be an issue. I have got a video about what is a lifetime home that is also really useful to watch alongside this one. So subscribe to the channel and you'll find that. So think about your life now, but with a change of circumstance. Work out different variables. That, if that happened, could we live comfortably here? What would that mean? How would it work? Would it be uncomfortable? Would it be a game changer? Is there scope for the design to still work in that remit? You can't come up with every eventuality, but just test it. What I'm telling you to do is push those boundaries a little bit. Now, the last one is to think about the future. Now, that isn't just getting old. That is part of it, but you've got a whole lot of life in between that time. And if you've got children, that's them getting older. So for instance, they might have single beds now. Their bedroom sizes, their bedroom layouts, their bedroom locations might be absolutely fine for them as an 8 and a 9-year-old. But when they're 17, 18, 15, 16, is it going to work? Are they going to want a double bed? Are they going to want to be a bit further away? Are you going to want them a little bit further away in the house? Have a think about what life is going to be like in that future you, that future family. When your teenagers are bringing their friends around, have they actually got enough space to be able to hang out and not be in your space when you're trying to relax? Because we this is the type of project we do quite a lot, really. Older teenagers, creating a bit of space in between mum and dad. So really challenge that, and then move on to the latter phases of your life. Is it a home that you could live in one part of it comfortably and even shut it down thermally in one part if you're not using one side of the house to save, to conserve energy and to live in more comfortably? Could you adapt it so that it would be single floor living, or that you could access all floors and still access all the things that you love about the house later in life if you were slower and less able-bodied? So really, really test those theories. They're the three main ones. The first one, think about the ways right now that you will use your home. The second one, think about you right now, but with a change of circumstance. And the third one, think about the stages of your life, the future stages of your life, not just getting old. And that will allow you to push that flexibility of your design and really think about how flexible your design really is. I hope that is helpful. I always try and be helpful. That's the aim of these. But that, I think, is so important. And I want you to be thinking like architects. I want you to be really, really testing your own brief and questioning your own brief. Because it's great to work with clients that are doing that too. You're not taking our job. It's just really helpful to have those collaborative conversations and to move on together. If you do like these videos, please subscribe to our channel. They come on every week, and there's a great back catalogue of useful stuff for home builders and renovators. So until next time, see you later. Bye-bye.